1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World Championship Wrestling's flagship weekly event, World Championship Wrestling Monday Nitro. We have lined up this evening for you some of the finest wrestling action in the world. We start with a classic cruiserweight competition between Ricochet and World Championship Wrestling's cruiserweight champion Rey Mysterio Jr. We follow this with the debut of a legendary tag team, the Steiner brothers, but they will take on fearsome opposition in Imperium. Then we have a three-way match to decide a few key milestones for the future of this company and this show. We'll get into that a little bit more later. Finn Balor, the Prince, takes on Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston. A triple threat, followed by another tag team match to decide World Championship Wrestling's female representation at Money in the Bank. It will be Damage Control, in this case Io Shirai and Dakota Kai, taking on Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Then we have another hard-hitting brawl. This is sure to be an absolute slobber knocker of a match, as a colleague of mine might say. Tommaso Ciampa takes on Ivan Dragunov. And finally, the moment you have all been waiting for. The future of the WCW Women's Division will be decided in our main event tonight, because the WCW Women's Championship of the World will be won by one of Ronda Rousey and Rhea Ripley. That, ladies and gentlemen, all coming up for you on WCW Monday Nitro.
And what do you say we get straight into the action? We've already got both competitors in the ring here, Rey Mysterio and Ricochet, with a handshake before the bell rings. And we're straight into the action here on Monday Nitro in our Cruiserweight division.
Wonderful. I mean, we could expect... Maybe perfection is a little bit harsh on these two guys, but we could expect a high-flying, fast, brilliant encounter between these two men. Two of the best wrestlers working today, in my opinion. I may be biased, but I still call it how I see it, and I see two future legends of this business in Rey Mysterio Jr. and Ricochet going at it tonight.
We saw both of these competitors in action last week in the first episode of the rebooted Nitro. Very different results for them. Rey Mysterio winning the Fatal 4-Way to become the Cruiserweight Champion. Ricochet unsuccessful in defeating Gunther in the United States Championship matches. Rey Mysterio hits the Three Amigos at a 6 count on the outside now. Both competitors need to be careful. Be mindful of the referee's count.
I did wonder, because there is no, there's no stipulation. This isn't a championship match. The belt's not on the line tonight. Maybe Ricochet would take a count-out win or a disqualification win, because even though it would be somewhat sullied, a bit tainted, it would still be a win against Rey Mysterio Jr., who is one of the best wrestlers working in any country, in any promotion, anywhere in the world, and that would be massive for Ricochet. I know for a fact he'll be wanting to bounce back from what was a tough loss to Gunther, but I did want to touch on that match and say don't count it against him, because Gunther is cut from a different cloth. He is a different breed of wrestler. He is an elite athlete and an elite machine. Is the only way I can really describe that now.
I'll tell you what, Ricochet, I would also describe him as an elite competitor. We just saw the German suplex there earlier on. There was a bit of a springboard Pele kick, showing that he's got everything in his arsenal right now. As Ricochet looking for a quick win with the 630 senton. The signature maneuver of Ricochet to put down the Cruiserweight Champion, and Mysterio kicks out at 2.
Just a little too early, but what a start it's been by Ricochet. He's absolutely flown out the blocks. He's bringing it to Rey Mysterio. He's not afraid. He's not hesitating. He's wanting to beat the champion and show him, I can take that belt away from you at a moment's notice.
Rey Mysterio here, perhaps stunned by the electric offense of his opponent as a suicide dive from Ricochet, more like a spaceman plunger.
To be honest, it's so safe and so well executed when Ricochet does it. It feels wrong to call it a suicide dive. I've never seen him do it and not land on his feet. He's never hurt himself doing that move. And that's the safety and the technique that the man has. I'd like to say he'd be a dream to work with in the ring, but I'm pretty sure Rey Mysterio is having a nightmare right about now on WCW Monday Nitro.
Well, speaking of nightmare, don't forget your main event this evening. It is a colossal clash between the Nightmare, the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley taking on Ronda Rousey, the baddest woman on the planet, for the WCW Women's Championship. Ricochet caught now by Rey Mysterio. The body slam. We don't see Rey go for power moves like that too often, but on this occasion it was applicable. Rey's going to need to find a bit of momentum here, find a bit of consistency to get back into this contest.
I think he's starting to turn it around, but he's got to use Ricochet's own strength against him. You know, Ricochet he's made a career out of high flying maneuvers that hit fast and quick. They devastate you, and before you've figured out your strategy, before you've figured out how to recover from one move, he's hit you with another one, and then another one, and another one. Rey Mysterio needs to use that speed against him, because no one can recover from a flurry of offense like that. If you don't have time to react to it, how can you recover? He's got to keep that in mind, and he's got to be quick, precise, and efficient tonight.
Heading to the top rope. Ricochet still situated on the outside, and there's a fantastically executed Hurricane Runner from one of the best to ever do it, Rey Mysterio.
You know, the way that Mysterio and Ricochet have gone off top turnbuckle outside of the ring towards the guardrail and the fans is kind of just making me wish I'd made this no countouts match. I'll have to bear that in mind. I was going to say it's when these two face each other again, because they are putting on an absolute classic here, and long may it continue on Monday Nitro.
Mysterio hesitates there, gives Ricochet a chance to get back into the contest. Hello Lily, welcome. You're in time for the first match. Don't worry about it.
You are indeed. I mean, it's still very much an active contest. I was going to say, assuming Mysterio gets back in the ring, but he knew where he was. He had no trouble getting back into the ring and avoiding the count out there. No bother for Rey Mysterio Jr. whatsoever.
Ricochet with I believe they're looking for a frog splash. Hits the frog splash, very reminiscent of how Rey Mysterio hits it, and that is going to be a victory for Ricochet over the Cruiserweight Champion.
Wow. Oh my god. That is absolutely massive for Ricochet. I mean, he's recovered from last week's difficult showing against Gunther in about the most... It's just dominant. He dominated the Cruiserweight Champion of the world with Rey Mysterio Jr. He had him for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then he spat him out. He walked all over.
A huge result for Ricochet in our opening contest of the night. A huge start to this show. But we're not done there. In fact, we are just getting started. Would you like to talk us into our next match?
I certainly would. In fact, I'd love to. Now, as you all know, Imperium put in a very, very good technical wrestling match, busted out all the fundamentals, and used their power, their brutality, their strength to win the WCW men's tag team titles. But if they think they're going to get an easy ride, I have got another thing coming, and that thing is world-renowned mathematics professor Scott Steiner and his brother, who happens to be a bulldog. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Steiner brothers, and it is Imperium, and it is happening right now, live on WCW Monday Nitro.
And here we go. Straight into this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to say there's a little caveat before we get started with business. If you didn't understand the reference when I called Scott Steiner a mathematics professor, please look up Steiner Math promo. I promise you will not be disappointed. It's better than anything I could put together or make up. Please watch it. That's all I have to say. Speaking of things that I strongly implore you to watch, though, the Steiner brothers, long renowned as one of American wrestling's best tag teams and a cornerstone, you know, the backbone of WCW's tag division. I don't think I ever saw the Steiner brothers put on a bad match.
Here are Imperium, WCW Tag Team Champions as we crowned them last week.
440 pounds.
Ludwig Kaiser, Germany, Giovanni Vinci, Italy. They are worldwide, and for the Steiner brothers there is no place to hide. And from what I'm hearing coming from the back, Gunther has sent them out unaccompanied by their boss tonight, because he wants them to show a bit of tough love from the big man, from the US champion. He wants his boys to show that they can get the job done without him being present, and they can do it against one of the most monstrous, one of the most devastating, in sync, on the same page tag teams there's ever been in wrestling, the Steiner brothers. I did want to give you, ladies and gentlemen at home, a favourite for this match, but I think it's too close to call. I could see this one going either way. But whoever walks out with the win will have sent a massive statement to the rest of the boys in the back.
I think it's also worth mentioning, I did mention it earlier, I do apologise that I missed this, but you do know that Rick and Scott are not alone tonight.
You're absolutely right. They are accompanied by one of the family. It's not just the Steiner brothers tonight. It's the Steiner family. It's the Steiner genealogy. Because Bron Breakker is here to back up his father and his uncle.
It is Scott Steiner starting out for the Steiner brothers, and it's Ludwig Kaiser starting out for Imperium as this one gets underway.
That's right, and to be honest, I can't really see an obvious difference between these two. The power, the height, the size, the strength, the technical ability, it's pretty much all just about evenly down the middle. So I just still can't predict who's going to come out on top out of these two.
Great to see the Steiners back. They belong on WCW, straight into the tag team division.
Yep. And the question is, can they go straight to the top of this tag team division? We will have to find out, but we know they've got the ability to do it. It's whether they can take what will be a tantalising opportunity, but by no means is it a gimme. Tag out by Kaiser to Vinci, and a hot tag by Scott to his brother Rick, who comes in and he is cleaning house. He is not happy with what Imperium just did to his own flesh and blood. something you. I think this is an interesting battle. The most fascinating part of it is that the Steiners tend to go on instinct. They tend to go on the heat of the moment, the blood that rushes through their head. But I think Kaiser and Vinci, they're cold and they're calculating. They tend to think more about tactics. You know, you notice that as soon as one of them gets into trouble, they don't have this macho attitude that maybe the Steiners have of just toughing it out and gritting your teeth and getting through a difficult period. They almost straight away seem to go for the cover. They straight away want to maximise their conditioning and minimise the damage they're taking in the ring, give their bodies time to get rid of that wear and tear and get back on top form, because they know they need to be at the very, very top of their game to get one over on the Steiner brothers.
See Scott Steiner stirring on the outside there. But Ludwig Kaiser with a penalty kick to the face of Rick. Rick gonna get the shoulder up off of that one, not enough to put away the Steiners tonight, as now Giovanni Vinci gets involved in the contest. But Rick with a pile driver.
Yep.
And Vinci in a bad way.
That is a Rick Steiner special, and you notice that he made sure Vinci went straight over to the Steiner's corner. He didn't allow him to bounce back towards Kaiser so he could make a tag. There was no chance of him being allowed to get out of this one. Maybe
Vinci's not been in the match for long, but he's bleeding.
Yeah, he's busted open. I've just seen it. Saw a few drops, crimson squirt onto the mat there. Vinci needs to do something spectacular, or he needs to get over to his corner and slap Kaiser's hand, because he is not doing well right about now. Oh, that was a great move on the apron.
Yeah, the back suplex onto the apron really allowed Vinci to take control, as there's a deadlift, gut wrench, powerbomb. Really just showing everything that he has to offer here, Vinci.
And lifting Rick Steiner like that, it's not like picking up a bag of sugar to make your tea, I'll tell you that much. That was extremely impressive from the Italian. Rick Steiner.
It's all started kicking off on the outside and the inside the ring as it happens. Cover now. One. Only a one.
I was talking about tactics, but I tell you what, Rick Steiner just proved me wrong there, because he clearly won't let Kaiser tag in and wipe away the work the Steiner brothers have just done in this match. He clearly won't allow Kaiser to come into the ring in peak physical condition, and that is a very wise move from Rick Steiner.
Vinci drops Scott Steiner now, looking for the opportunity to tag in Kaiser, and he does. Ludwig Kaiser now the legal man for Imperium. And Ludwig Kaiser looking for a big back suplex. Face first goes Scott. Oh, some blood, I think. But Rick's going to break it up before there's really any opportunity.
Yeah, this is the difficulty of tag matches. You know, you're not just trying to get one guy down. You've got to deal with two men at all times. Because if one is in too good a condition, you're never going to get the win. Because as long as they're alive, as long as they're thinking and seeing what's going on inside the squared circle, they're going to break the pin up every time. I must say though, luckily we are not deciding this match based on who has the better grip, because In that case, Imperium would have won before they had even stepped into the ring. The Steiner brothers going with the Grandma's rug drip. The seizure drip, the migraine drip, as I like to call
it. Bulldog there from Rick Steiner to win the match. He's there. There.
Yep, and it was a great bulldog from the dog-faced gremlin, but he forgot to take care of Kaiser before he got the cover on Giovanni Vinci, and that was his most critical mistake, because now, with his brother Scott being taken care of, Vinci could start to get his head back in the game here.
He does that with a beautiful flipping powerbomb cover, but now Scott's there to break it up. It's just a constant barrage of interferences.
I'm really hoping that the AI gets its shit together and this match doesn't go on for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I am slightly concerned about that.
As much as in real life, I would absolutely love for to see a 30-minute match between these guys in their prime. The AI is not on that level, I'm afraid. It just isn't. That's already a bad omen as to how long this match has gone on for. Controllers are on charge.
Oh, hang on. Rick, he's got a bear hug. He's got a bear hug on Vinci. Kaiser hasn't realised. Is he going to take too long? No, he breaks it up. Oh, and then Scott from out of nowhere. It's all kicking off.
Scott just whammed him with the bulldog. I've just seen that. God's sake. I mean, he's taken a page out of his brother's book, hasn't he? He did it very well. He's clearly been paying attention to what Rick's been doing in that ring.
Now Giovanni Vinci spins him around, and there's the powerbomb cover. 1, 2. No, the kick out from Rick Steiner at 2. That felt like the moment for Imperium. It was the kick out for Rick Steiner on this occasion. Now both legal members of their teams are taking part in non-legal combatants.
Tell you what, Ron Breakker, I don't know if his father's told him to just not get involved, but he's just sort of there, isn't he?
Cover from Rick, 2, and there's a kick out from Vinci. Oh, I'm sure that Rick and Scott both said we can get this done ourselves. Don't get involved. They just want. I think Bron's just there for the possibility of Gunther getting involved more than anything. As there's a fantastic Hurricane Runner from Scott Steiner. A cover now. 1, 2, 3. He's done it.
Oh, he's done it. He got it.
He's done it. Scott Steiner gets a win for the Steiner brothers against the tag team champions. That is a huge result.
Yeah. Well, sometimes even in tag team wrestling, it's the fine margins that matter in this business. I don't know if Kaiser was too tired or he just didn't notice. I'd put money on the latter because he's a smart man, Ludwig Kaiser. He's not prone to moments of mental weakness when he's in this business. I'm stunned. I didn't think it would end so quick. There'd been so much of it, so much back and forth, but I guess Steiner just had superior ring awareness and knew what he needed to do, and he got it done. Massive win for the Steiner brothers. What could that mean for the future of these WCW tag team titles? What could it mean?
Well, a huge result in the tag division, but we go from the tag team championships to a match with huge ramifications for the future of Nitro.
Indeed, we do. This match will decide the future of so many things. It will decide the future of
I'll get in. Let's get into the match whilst you're telling us exactly what this match means.
Certainly, please do. I'm sure everyone at home is as eager to see it as me and you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Finn Balor, Kofi Kingston, and Dolph Ziggler, and that in itself is enough of a spectacle. It's enough of an occasion. It doesn't need any added spice. It doesn't need any added sizzle. There's plenty of meat on the bones of this juicy fillet steak. But there is a little extra at play here. That this means a little more than it would normally. Because the winner of this match will become the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. And they will get a title shot at Money in the Bank. But not all will be in vain for the two men who don't manage to come out on top in this one, because they will get their chance at stardom. And it may be a bit of a longer road, a bit of a road with more turns, more unexpected diversions, but it could be a road to glory nonetheless, because the two men who lose in this match will face each other on our next episode of Monday Nitro next week. And the winner of that match will progress to the men's Money in the Bank match at a pay-per-view. Coming soon, live to the television set. Now, I'm pretty certain I got that right. I did panic a little bit that I had forgotten the stipulation. I think I got that right. I think I was correct.
From what I said. As far as I'm aware, that is the correct description of this match. So just to recap very quickly, the winner of this triple threat will challenge Shinsuke Nakamura for the World Heavyweight Championship of Money in the Bank. The other two participants proceed to a Money in the Bank qualifier in the coming weeks. Does mean that one of these three men will miss out entirely, but you get two bites of the cherry, so to speak. Finn Balor unsuccessful as part of Judgment Day last week in the Tag Team Championship contest. Looks to get himself on track for single glory tonight. It's time to get out the last competitor in this contest. He is representing his New Day brethren. It's Kofi Kingston.
That's right. I mean, we have two stables being represented in this match. I didn't even think about all the other stakes and all the other rewards that this match could bring. We have representation for New Day and Judgment Day. Judgment Day quite well represented on this entire show, really, if you think about it.
No, not only just that, but of course Dolph Ziggler, he is part of a tag team himself, one half of the Dirty Dogs, along with Robert Roode. We've yet to see that particular team in tag team action. Yeah, but I'm sure we will do at some point soon.
Oh, don't we? We definitely will. You have my word. I know my word has definitely been broken in the past at times I can't even remember, but
that's the problem.
I will keep. No, this is the problem. I've given everyone.
Kofi Kingston is twerking. Kofi Kingston's twerking on Nitro. That's it.
Oh, let's go.
I've seen everything now.
There's a reason we have fire in the background and on the ring apron, and that's because of shit like this. Kofi Kingston is twerking up a storm tonight. But will he wrestle up a storm? There is only one place and one way to find out. On WCW Monday Nitro.
Kofi and Finn went straight after each other from the opening bell. That's lingering ill will from the tag team contest last week, but Dolph Ziggler, he's not going to just get away with watching this one. As all three men exchanging blows in the early goings.
I think even without any bad blood, I think Finn Balor and Kofi Kingston are just so they're almost diametrically opposed personalities, really. You have the fun-loving, free-spirited, high-flying Kofi versus Balor, who is so all about business and all about serious work. They can both wrestle, but the way they go about it, the way they view it, is just completely different. And that makes for an interesting clash of personalities and styles in this match tonight on WCW Monday Nitro.
Ooh, a crash and burn there from Kofi Kingston. Dolph Ziggler going to take a moment to just mock his opponent there. Balor going to be the first person to make use of the no disqualification aspect of the triple threat, as he has a steel chair, and Dolph Ziggler is certainly aware of that fact. Into the steps goes Kofi Kingston. Balor appreciating his handiwork. But perhaps too long. Kofi gets straight to his counter, but Balor can maintain the upper hand, at least for the moment. Balor drops Kofi. Now Ziggler going to work with the kendo stick. Balor going to take it out of his hands and fight back. A famouser onto the concrete by Ziggler onto Balor. Ziggler going to take a moment to appreciate his handiwork. Yeah, the Nitro crew having a bit of a moment here. Not sure whether or not they want to put the spotlight on their own player. Not sure if they want to see the action, as there's a shining wizard.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can only apologise for that little mishap, but you must remember we are on WCW, so these things do happen, and they're definitely going to continue to happen.
Put it this way: think about how bad Camera Crew was on Raw when we had a budget. And now we're on Nitro and we have no budget, so yeah.
Excuse me, I have a budget. I may have obtained it through dubious means, but I definitely have a budget. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm still questioning how you obtained the funds to purchase that Monday night slot. Yeah, here we are.
As I said, a generous benefactor. That's the truth, and I'm sticking to it.
But nonetheless, regardless as to the means to which the actual show was obtained, the fact that this is a very talented group, and we're seeing three of the most talented individuals on the roster go to work in this contest with a chance to go on to Money in the Bank and potentially become the world's heavyweight champion. It's not an opportunity to be sniffed at by any means.
It's not an opportunity you get once every week or once in, once. It comes along once in a blue moon, really.
Also looks to be out of it at the moment. Opportunity for Kofi Kingston or Finn Balor to seize the moment. There's a 2 count and Balor gets the shoulder up. Or a chop block from Balor, very smart, taking out the show off there.
Tell you what, Ziggler was lucky that Balor kicked out there because he was never getting out of the time. That could have just seemed very, very close to being the end of this match.
Excellent crossbody from Kofi. Balor in trouble, gets the shoulder up again. Kofi Kingston thought he had the match won, but Balor, he had enough fight left in him. Now Kofi looking for that signature SOS maneuver into the cover. But Dolph is there to break it up. And now Dolph, Kofi's rolled out the ring. Dolph's tuning up the band. Finn Balor could be in trouble as there's the sweet chin music. No, Balor ducks under and there's a Pele kick. That could have been the end of the match right there. Dolph Ziggler, that was his moment, perhaps. Oh, Dolph looking for an accordion rack submission hold. Kofi Kingston, is he going to submit to the accordion rack? The leg being used for extra leverage. Finn Balor's out in the corner. No, Kofi fights out and there's a hip toss to drop the show off Dolph Ziggler. Now Balor perhaps going to take a moment on the outside. Kofi with a counter. Kofi Kingston with trouble in paradise. Ziggler's out. What's Balor doing? Balor's watching on. Ziggler gets the shoulder up at 2 from the trouble in paradise. It's almost like Balor knew. It's like Balor knew that Ziggler would kick out. Balor was looking for 1916 and Kofi gets out of it. I have no idea how Ziggler's kicked out of that one. But there's trouble in paradise for a second time to Dolph. 1, 2, and he's kicked out again.
Oh my goodness me. I have nothing to add. I don't know what I could say to make that more exciting.
There's the DDT from Balor. Ziggler getting back to his feet. Cover from Balor, but Dolph's going to break that one up. I don't know how Dolph Ziggler is still alive in this match, but he's now got Finn Balor in a sleeper hold. Going to try and knock out the member of the Judgment Day, make him pass out to get the win. Kofi, he's in time to break that one up. Cover now, onto Ziggler, off the suplex, and Dolph kicks out again. He's in trouble. Oh, trouble in paradise. Ziggler ducks, and there's, I think it was a super kick maybe, and another super kick from Dolph into the cover. Balor's not going to make it. 2, 3. Dolph Ziggler is the #1 contender to the World Heavyweight Championship. I cannot believe what I have just seen in this match.
Yeah, well, that makes 2 of us. That makes 2 of us. I don't really know how to react to what's just happened. I don't really know what to say. We've seen about 50 finishes in about 5 minutes. And somehow, the guy who nearly got his clock absolutely, not just cleaned, he had the thing fucking refurbished, repaired, and reused. He sprung up from the depths of hell and jumped all the way to heaven to become the #1 contender for the most prestigious heavyweight championship in all of the world.
He took not 1, but 2 trouble in paradise maneuvers. He countered a 3rd into a super kick, knew that wasn't enough, hit a 2nd super kick. And just like that,
I mean, what do you say to that?
Is the #1 contender.
How do you react to that? What am I supposed to think? I mean, I thought, I thought Ziggler had a good chance of winning, right? Great competitor, fantastic wrestler, got a great look. He's got it all. He's had a great, long, steady career. You can't count him out of anything. But I didn't expect him to do that. I didn't expect him to do that.
Not in the way that he did it. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to move on. We have to move on. It's time for women's tag team action. Take it away. It's your show. You tell us what it's about.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, whoever wins this will become WCW's premier representative in the ladies tag team division at Money in the Bank. They're not just fighting for a title. They're not just fighting for a briefcase. They're fighting for something deeper. They're fighting for something worth even more. The honor, the prestige, and the privilege of representing World Championship Wrestling. Now,
indeed, we can confirm the women's tag team championships will be contested across both Nitro and SmackDown. It is a cross-promotion championship, which means bragging rights are on the line when it comes to that championship.
that they are indeed. But it's more than bragging rights. It's showing that not only are you better at the pool of women's tag team wrestlers in your own company, it's showing that you can go out of your comfort zone. It's showing that you can go out and around the world and challenge the best of the best and still come out on top. It's the cream of the crop. It's the very, very best. And that's what these groups of women are going to have to be. Not just tonight, but at pay-per-view. If they've got any hope of becoming the tag team champions.
What do you say we have a little introduction to the two teams that are competing tonight?
Yes, I'd like that. I'd actually like that very much. Which one of us would you prefer to handle that introduction?
I'd say this is your roster, this is your show, this is your team. So you tell us what's brought them to the dance. Starting with the woman on our screen at the moment, Charlotte Flair.
Well, Mrs. Nature, the queen of modern wrestling, the empress of WCW. Notice how all of those words don't include multiples. They don't have a double. There's no her and somebody else. There's no me and my partner. There's just me. That's what Charlotte Flair usually does. I've heard a lot of conflicting reports about this sudden, some might say cobbled together union between her and Asuka. They've fought a lot against each other. They're never together, never with each other. And the question is, what kind of impact is that going to have mentally on these two women? And, you know, whatever you think of Damage Control, love them, hate them, something in between, we know that they can work together, and they can work together efficiently and effectively. They're on the same page, they're on the same wavelength, they're reading from the same hymn sheet. They know how to get the job done. As a duo, as a trio, they can do it. And two women who traditionally have fought time and time again, and two women who we know don't see eye to eye, they're not similar, don't have the same personalities, they're not on the best of terms anyway. The question is, can they pull one out of the bag, pull the rabbit out of the hat, overcome that, and become the flag bearers for women's wrestling on WCW? That is the key, ultimate point in this massive match.
How about their opponents, Damage Control?
I feel like my words would be wasted trying to get across how brilliant Damage Control are, because you can just look, you can see them in the ring, and that does all the talking that needs to be done. But I will give a brief introduction. If you've been unfortunate enough to never see Damage Control in action before, I feel very sorry for you, among other things. They've been a group for quite some time now. I can't remember the exact. Maybe give a ballpark. Maybe my colleague who is a little more experienced in these matters, that he can give a ballpark figure.
Dakota Kai just drop kicked Io Sky, like straight out the gate, unprompted.
Okay. Well, I don't mind being interrupted by this. That's pretty good. That's pretty epic.
Maybe is that just what Damage Control do? Is that just how they fire themselves up?
I mean, yeah, it's a bit like have you ever seen someone use the noggin knocker? Have you heard of that move?
No.
Sometimes, well, it's just when it makes it sound a lot more exciting than it is. It's just when two wrestlers get their heads knocked together. Back in the day, tag teams used to use the noggin knocker on each other to fire themselves up. And it would always be like the adrenaline they would get from doing that.
We've got a hot tag in within 30 seconds. Got a hot tag in 30 seconds.
I don't know if Asuka and Charlotte Flair hate each other as much as Damage Control, or just hate both of them, to be honest, at this point. I'm not really sure. Oh, dear me. Well,
This is.
I hope this doesn't add to the injury list or my legal troubles, and I'll consider it a successful match.
This is the in-ring debut of Dakota Kai. We didn't see her last week. I don't believe she got an opportunity during the MyGM days. So this is a brand new opportunity for the members of this match, which is exciting to see. At the moment, it's Asuka and Io Sky, two of the best wrestlers in the world, going at it. This match does include, I should say the prize in this match is opportunity for championship gold for the successful unit. Women's Tag Team Championships to be decided at the Money in the Bank event. As there's a suicide dive to the back of Asuka's head. For a missile drop kick, but nobody home. Asuka going to tag Flair back into the contest. Got a tag with Dakota Kai. Catches Flair as she went for the chop block. So smoothly done by Dakota Kai. A cheap shot to Asuka as well. Again, Flair sweeping out the legs, perhaps trying to soften Dakota Kai up for the patented figure 8 leg lock. So well known for. Kai,
Yes,
kick to the
figure
gut.
The classic figure 4 on the bridge. An inversion, a different version of her father's famous great blocking by the referee there. Literally could not see anything that was going on. Absolutely wonderful. Must have been a previous member of the production crew before he went into referee.
I do believe Asuka was able to break up the hold. We did see Flair throwing some knees out as well. So
yeah, yes, it seemed like Flair got out of it. It seemed like Flair got out of it pretty quickly, to be fair. So I'm not even sure if she really needed the help from Asuka, but I'd say it'd be much appreciated. But you never really know with these two. You never really know quite what wavelength they're on.
Asuka was looking perhaps to set up a hip attack, but Kai could reverse it into a skull cradle, but I'm going to get much off of that one. It's now Io Sky comes back into the fold.
It was such a short inside cradle. It was. If you put your baby in that cradle, you'll probably end up injured within about 5 minutes.
A fantastic counter from Asuka, turning it into an Alabama slam. And now working on the leg of Io Sky, taking away the vertical base. Of a form of war. Women's champion from last season is now Sky and Flair going at it. A backslide from Sky, looking to steal the victory over Flair. but doesn't quite get it. Stay down there. Flair not pleased with what Sky just attempted. Massive elbow there. Cover from Flair. Don't want to get anything on this occasion. Consistent back and forth now between Sky and Asuka. Bit of a stun gun there, dropping the Queen. Sky drops Asuka, but Asuka will roll out the ring. Again, thrown off by Sky, and she turns it into another backslide. The cover now. 2, 3, she steals it!
Oh my god.
Io Sky with a quick backslide onto Asuka, rolls her up, catches her by surprise, and Damage Control are going to Money in the Bank to compete for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Seemingly out of nowhere, Asuka looked to be setting up a neck breaker. Io Sky caught her unawares.
I think unawares is the key word there. I think Asuka, I don't know quite what part of it caught her unawares. It seemed like a basic manoeuvre, but I think maybe she's let her anger and her animosity with Flair cloud her judgment tonight. And I know for a fact that Flair, if she was angry at her before, she would be furious right now.
Okay then, well, it's time to move on to, we've been speaking about Money in the Bank already, so what do you say we get a Money in the Bank qualifier going?
I think you know me well enough to know I'm not going to say no to that. Let's frickin' go.
Let's get the usual pattern, mate. You go ahead, tell us what we've got right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this one is pretty short and pretty simple, but when these two just get in the ring, it's not going to be sweet. It's going to be sour, bloody, and brutal.
Making his way to the ring from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, weighing in at 201 pounds, Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, hang on a second. Do you read me?
I read you.
Yes, we lost you for a second there.
I can also read the many lines on Tommaso Ciampa's bald head, but I'm probably not going to tell him that to his face.
Oh, he's actually got an earpiece in. He's listening to the commentary right now, so it's a bit late for that.
I'm thinking.
Anyway, here's Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, from one absolute murderous psychopath to another, pretty much. As I was saying, a little introduction to this match, although if you did see our show last week, you won't necessarily need it. This is a Money in the Bank qualifier, but there's a little bit of bad blood between these two. Not that they need any excuse to hate another human being, or each other, or anybody, really. These two faced off as part of the massive Cruiserweight match to decide the Cruiserweight, our inaugural WCW Cruiserweight Champion. Won, of course, by Rey Mysterio Jr., as we have seen earlier tonight. But these two have got something special. They didn't come out on top in that match. It's very hard to do so when you're surrounded by that many world-class wrestlers. It's very hard to come out on a match with on top in a match with that many people anyway. I want to reward these guys for the heart, the soul, the strength that they've shown not just in that match, but through their careers. And I want to reward them and show that they're going places. Give them opportunities. The glass ceiling that existed under previous regimes in this company will never be a feature of the current incarnation of WCW. And that's why whoever wins this match, a little bit of a grudge match you might say, will be going on to star in the men's Money in the Bank match, where they will have a chance to get a shot at any title of their choosing, if they can get a win tonight.
We should of course explain actually, because I don't think we've done so yet, the format for Money in the Bank. Of course, the Money in the Bank match, one of the biggest matches of the year, so big of course that it has its own titular pay-per-view. At the event we will be holding 2 Money in the Bank matches, one for the men and one for the women. These matches will both be contested across both Nitro and SmackDown. There will be 4 men and 4 women representing both shows at Money in the Bank. 2 briefcases, as I said, 1 briefcase for men, 1 briefcase for the women. And as my colleague did so mention, the winner gets a championship opportunity at a time and place of their choosing at any point before the next Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So, it is a fantastic opportunity, and not one to be taken lightly. I'll tell you something that will not be light as well, is the stiff shots we'll be seeing in this match. These two are going to take their pound of flesh, so to speak.
They want more than a pound of flesh. They want however many pounds of flesh they can get their hands on, and litres upon litres.
Oh, just that. I can't tell if that was chops or slaps, but either way, the chest of Tommaso Ciampa is not feeling too good right now, I suspect.
And I think
he's missed.
I think Dragunov will tell you that he can probably do both at once if he so pleases, if his opponent pisses him off.
Two cruiserweights doing battle here, but of course, this being a qualifier for the Money in the Bank match. That briefcase, should one of these 2 men go on to win it, they could well cash in on the World Heavyweight Championship, should they choose to do so. Nothing to stop them from moving divisions, so to speak. Ciampa was looking for something big there. Dragunov, he could smell the danger. Ciampa this time, it was his turn to smell the danger. We're going to roll out of harm's way there. That's going to allow us to take control of the matchup. Ciampa's turning control, no. Dragunov turns it around. Consistent back and forth between these two. Very similar, aggressive, hard-hitting styles. As Ciampa with a snap German suplex, very well executed.
talked a lot about the brutality and the sheer bloodlust behind this match, but we shouldn't forget that these two guys were exceptional.
Oh, hang on a second. Project Ciampa from Tommaso. And he's going to kick out just at... I can't tell if that was nearly a 2 or if it had just been a 2, but it definitely was not a 3 count. Dragunov to the top rope. Ciampa's there to meet him. No. Gets out of the way of that one, but Ciampa this time. Oh, this could be dangerous. A big DDT on the apron. Ciampa now has him up, and there's an air raid siren on the outside. As soon as Dragunov gets into the ring, he's dumped back outside by Ciampa. Now Ciampa looking for a big manoeuvre. He's on the top rope. Dragunov on the outside and drops the knee. Dragunov appears to be in a bad way here. Oh no, never mind. Catches him in a hip toss there. By Ciampa very well into a, I don't know if it's a crossface or a headlock or whatever this maneuver is, but he's wearing Dragunov down on the outside. Dragunov back to a vertical base, able to fight out that particular maneuver. And Ciampa just catches Dragunov and drops him there. Ciampa looking for the fairy tale ending. And that's a 1! Dragunov kicks out of the fairy tale ending at 1.
I think he's insane, Drag. I think he's genuinely mentally. There's something wrong with him. He's deranged, honestly.
Dragunov dropping Ciampa. He's working the crowd up. And I don't know if that's a headbutt or an elbow or what have you, but Ciampa looks to be clean out. No! It didn't work. So Dragunov, he's just going to do it again. Working the crowd up even more for a second time. Gets it again. Ciampa out like a light. 2. And he kicks out again. And straight back to his feet at that. What is going on in this match? Tell you what, people, we are seeing some particularly resilient kickouts tonight. Now Dragunov firing back against Ciampa. Ciampa back to his feet again. Takes him down one more time.
See what, the crowd really getting behind Dragunov on there. You can hit. I thought he was a fairly antisocial sort of personality.
He's going for it again.
Loving it.
The crowd are up for this. And he gets in for a 3rd time. Ciampa, is he out this time? 2, 3. Dragunov is going to Money in the Bank.
Wow.
A brilliant, hard-hitting, feisty encounter between these two. And in the end, Dragunov damn near had to take Ciampa's head off. But he is going to Money in the Bank. A huge, huge performance, a huge, huge win for Ilya Dragunov. And he has qualified, of course, for that huge ladder match.
Wow. See what, Dragunov, he didn't just strap a rocket to himself. He started a whole damn NASA space program the way he just performed tonight. Wow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, somehow we are here at the main event and we can get this one underway. As my colleague gives us the lowdown on this one.
There's been some big matches tonight. Important matches. Future-defining matches. But there's not been anything quite like this. This isn't just for pride. This isn't just to prove you're a great wrestler. This isn't just for bragging rights. This is for the World Championship Wrestling Women's Heavyweight Championship. The greatest women's title in the world, contended for, fought over by two of the toughest, most skilled, most brutal brawlers in this business. Ladies and gentlemen, Rhea Ripley versus Ronda Rousey. Let's get it on.
I don't know if you can say greatest women's championship about a belt with no history, but tonight is the opportunity to make that history, no doubt, as two top contenders will be squaring off.
Precisely. I say it is the best world championship in the world because the women who are fighting for it are and will continue to be best.
I would love to argue with you, but I cannot deny I would love to have Rhea Ripley on my roster. It has to be said. This is a star right here.
I love having her on my roster, to be honest.
Ronda Rousey, you can keep Ronda Rousey, to be honest. I'm cool with that.
I mean, look, she might not be our cup of tea, but there's something there. And sometimes the challenge of finding a wrestler's spark, setting them ablaze with the flames of this wonderful sport, sometimes that is worth more than a ready-made superstar. Sometimes that is worth more than the biggest and brightest name in the business. Because making a star is a hell of a lot harder than showing a star.
Very noticeable by their absence tonight is the rest of the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley telling them to stay in the back, and that is the prize they are fighting for right there. WCW Women's Championship.
That's right. A truly international prize, famed around the world. But who will walk away with it around their waist tonight? It has to be
firing the first shot. Just a vicious stomps. Already Rhea Ripley coming straight out of the gate here. Trying to hit the big manoeuvres on Ronda. I'm sure Ronda's not going to take too kindly as that. So right hand drops. Rhea Ripley. Immediately working on the arms. We know exactly what Ronda Rousey's game is here tonight. Work on the arms, get the arm bar in. As soon as you lock that in, Rhea Ripley might as well be saying good night, bye bye title. Although she has the strength to do that, don't write her off completely.
Good night, time to go Betty Bye-byes.
Rhea Ripley just force pushed Ronda Rousey there. That was quite something. I might have to rethink about whether or not Ronda is in contention for this match if Rhea has the use of the Force.
Can we get Jewel of the Fates going right now?
Cover off with the snake eyes. It's only going to get on one. So far, there's not been much in this one, except for Ronda taking a moment to taunt, and Rhea decided to do nothing with that opening. But does get a good drop kick off nonetheless. Oh, and a suicide dive from Rhea Ripley! Ronda thought she was safe outside the ring. She took a little moment to gloat with the fans, and now a German suplex from Rhea Ripley as well. Oh, and face first. I don't know if she hit the mat or if she hit the bottom of that guardrail. Kind of hope it's the mat, to be honest, that guardrail. She might have lost a tooth if that was the case. Rhea Ripley looking very comfortable in this current position. But, Ronda now looking to get back into this contest. Ronda with a guillotine locked in, looking to make Rhea Ripley fade. Be a very quick end to this, quite a surprise, but no, Rhea has the stroke, turns it into a modified spine buster. Ronda, oh what a counter! Into an inverted Frankensteiner from the electric chair position.
I mean, if anyone questioned, including me and you, whether or not she could wrestle that, that's pretty good evidence for the defense.
Ronda's now starting to take control of this contest. This is exactly what Rhea Ripley didn't need, as Ronda Rousey now growing in confidence. Rolls through. And this could be game over. As there's the Piper's Pit maneuver. Rhea Ripley could be done for. No! Shoulder up. So Ronda, she's going to go one better. Takes down the leg. She's got the ankle lock in. And she sits down on it. Learnt that one from the very best from Kurt Angle. Rhea Ripley is in desperate straits in this one. Oh, perhaps Ronda didn't quite have it locked in as well as I thought she did, because Rhea is able to get out, but she's hobbling on that leg now. It's not going well for Rhea. Into an accordion rack just to try and buy herself some time more than anything. Just go fight out of that. Beautiful counter as it happens. Ronda's really taking control of this contest now, as that drops Rhea. And that takes her down! Seemingly from nothing.
Okay.
Ronda Rousey is the WCW Women's Champion.
We've had a few shock finishes tonight. That's probably the most shocking.
WCW Women's Champion, the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ronda Rousey is the Women's Champion. And that going to be it for Nitro.
Indeed, it is. I mean, I feel like my brain has been put through a deep fryer, and then spat on. So it's been given the Scottish treatment, is what I'm saying.
Ronda Rousey is the WCW Women's Champion. As a recap, Ilya Dragunov has qualified for Money in the Bank. Damage Control will be competing for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Dolph Ziggler is the number one contender to the World Heavyweight Championship, as well as victories for the Steiners and Ricochet against championship opposition. That's going to be it for tonight, everyone. We do hope you've enjoyed Nitro. Take care and have a good night.
Good night, and see you next Monday.